Risk managers at oil and gas companies can struggle to overcome silos of risk exposures within their operations. We discuss the challenges of managing operational risk with Scott Ewell, an SVP at EWI Specialty Casualty, a division of EWI. Here are the highlights.
ERM today in a post-BP Deepwater Horizon environment still remains more aspirational than it is in practice. We're slowly seeing some trends evolving from the aspirational side to the in practice embedded side within companies, but that is still slow to come within a lot of companies. Some of the traditional barriers are the silos that various risk professionals discharge their day-to-day responsibilities within companies. For instance, when you're dealing with risk managers at the operational level, the risk managers have specific tasks that they're focused to relative to identifying, assessing, treating, and then monitoring risk within limited budgets and within the limited business risk that the company has already identified for them to treat. Enterprise risk management really requires a board-centric, board-down approach to the greater overall enterprise risk. And you're looking at that relative to both pure risk and financial risk. Historically, the board of directors has been more focused on financial risk. They're looking at the cost of CapEx, they're looking at the cost of hedging, they're looking at other the cost of sales, general and administrative. However, they're not necessarily, they're thinking about safety and safety awareness and environmental risk. But there seems to be a dislocation between what the information that they get from senior management than what's truly the true exposures are in the field. We saw this with BP Deepwater Horizon. It was a case study in all matters relative to blowout protector failures. With that, had the board been more focused on truly what is our exposure, especially with our contracts with third-party service providers, Transocean, Halliburton, they would have probably understood that the risk was greater than they knew at the board level. Now, was there an operational risk manager out on the Deepwater Horizon rig out in the Gulf that saw these potential risks? Probably. And did that person have an avenue of communication back to senior management and back to the board to implement it? The answer is no, and that's fairly evident by much of the litigation if you go through and read that litigation. So that is a very bad example of what no ERM program will result in. The good news is, and this is a plug for BP, is BP has learned by their mistakes. Fire by baptism, if you will. And what we're seeing now is BP has implemented a board level safety and environmental committee that's on par with the audit committee, the compensation committee, and the nominating governance committee at the board level that quarterly reviews all operational risk. One better, they're getting their information and reports from the operational risk management team they've developed a special, if you will, a sub-risk management group that now solely focuses on these issues that are developing risk. And this operational level now reports to both senior management and the board uses the quarterly operational risk manager's report to affect action items at the board level. And most important at the board level is that the board is giving adequate dollars, adequate budget requirements to affect these recommended risk and safety and environmental risk changes that is all being promulgated up to senior management. So it's really quite amazing. In a very short period of time, we're seeing this circularity where it starts at the board requires the senior management and the operational risk managers to report up, they report up, the board gets the information, they act on it, and then it becomes company policy. And that is truly what great ERM should be. Because at the end of the day, for the sole risk manager or operational risk manager to only have an ERM construct that they're operating under, odds are it will never be funded because it's never going to be part of the budgetary process or get on the board's radar for something beyond what's just finite and known. Because great ERM is looking at what I call what former Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld used to say, there's the knowable, what we know, there's what we don't know, and there's what we don't know we don't know. And that operational risk management team is really the eyes and ears to let the board know what they don't know they don't know.
For more of our coverage of the 2015 IRMI Energy Risk and Insurance Conference, visit the RIN TV On Demand Library.